So this is a really cool trip story because it just happened. So I'm able to tell you guys the full story with complete memory, and I don't have to just tell you bits and pieces. I'm very excited. Let's get into it. This is the MDMA and Shrooms at Coachella trip story. If you haven't watched my previous video of my journey to Coachella 2017, you should definitely check it out. You can click the little card up in the corner that'll pop up right now. But that goes into a lot more detail on just my entire Coachella experience and how it went. Right now, what I want to do is go into a lot more detail of how my different experiences were with the drugs I took and how it all came about. Because I really had no fucking idea what I was going to take and what I wasn't. This is one of the first Coachellas where I was just like, hey, whatever the fuck happens, happens. I want to make sure I have everything and a lot of everything. And I did. I went to Coachella with 6 mollies. I had an eighth of shrooms and I had a tab of acid. And this acid tab was actually 2 years old, and it was the same tab, I believe, that I took when I cried on LSD, which is an old video, which you could also check out if you wanted to, and if you just click the little card that pops up. So that was very, very intimidating, and I figured I'd take it just in case it happened. I kind of got close to thinking about it, but I never ended up taking the acid that I had. What I did end up taking is what felt like the perfect mix of MDMA and shrooms. I had never really mixed MDMA and shrooms in this fashion before. I had eaten shrooms slowly and I loved it. I had sipped on a molly water before slowly and loved it, but I'd never done both in the same weekend. And mixed with, drinking and smoking weed, it ended up being probably the best and smoothest experience that I've ever had at a festival, at least. It was like the perfect boost into like the perfect psychedelic and not really psychedelic space that I needed to be at. I was able to really experience visuals and small things, but I was also at certain points felt amazing. It was literally probably the purest MDMA I'd ever taken. Rather than just telling you how I felt, let's get into the actual story of it. So like I said, it was Coachella 2017, just happened a couple weeks ago. So like I said, we had a lot of drugs on us, but we didn't plan anything out. So Thursday, which is the day before, anything really happens at Coachella, it was a good experience going there. We had a couple issues with life shit that was like random and popped up as we were on our way there. But it was actually a really smooth drive over there, really positive experience. There was a lot of positive energy in the air as we got there, and it was, the perfect start to the weekend. Such a perfect start that this was like one of the first weekends where I really wanted to eat mushrooms on Thursday. Usually I'll just get really drunk on Thursdays, but I would never really do any psychedelics or molly on Thursday. But this weekend, I actually considered it. So Friday we went in to the venue from the campsite, and we were really just drinking and chilling. We came back from the venue and we were super dehydrated and really just needed to rest. We continued to drink. We were hanging out with our neighbors, and it was really good vibes. In the conversation with the neighbors, we started talking about, what drugs we were going to do, what we had. And they actually offered us an Adderall, which I've never taken. And I said no. I was like, I don't know what to expect with that, and I don't, I'm not really trying to mix that with what I'm on. I'm already, I'm good. But as we talked about Molly and MDMA, they told us, they had Molly and, that they were going to take theirs. I guess they had taken theirs the night before, and they were like, saying how, pure and really good it was. I told them, yeah, we have some Molly too. We're probably going to take some. But right before we end up going inside the venue to go party and go see Mac Miller and shit, we had been taking tequila shots. So we were all pretty hyped up and excited and ready to go inside. Just seeing Monica as hype and excited as she was and in such a good space, I decided, fuck it. I was like, here, babe, come on. Fuck it. Let's just do it right now. And they were like, woo! And then the neighbor had already taken hers. So she was like, yeah, fuck it. Come on. It was just one of those moments, where you just have to do it. Woo! And that was that. I can really honestly say that was one of the cleanest, most pure Molly MDMA experiences that I've ever had. We walked in and we were like floating. I'm not really the type to hang out with random people, and we ended up kicking it with them for quite a while, and I was actually really into it, and I was really happy about it. And it was really cool to like see that positive aspect of the MDMA really be utilized in the festival experience. And it's a trip because I learned with this experience that when I go to festivals and, going forward, I'm not saying I want to be rolling balls the whole time, but I think that I need to understand what the drugs do more and use them to my advantage. Rather than just being like, okay, I'm going to roll for this person, I can't wait. I need to really just be like, hey, these are going to help me get through the weekend and stay, energetic and positive, and that's okay because that's what they're there for if you do it responsibly. So going forward, that's definitely something I'm going to do is, really use the drugs that I have in the way that they should be, and, utilize the positive aspects of every different drug, which I did with the mushrooms the next day, which I can't wait to get into, but that'll be in a little bit. Hold on. Anyway, so we go in to go see Mac Miller. It's just such positive vibes. He ends up showing me this like weird alleyway in the middle of Coachella where I've never seen. All the years I've gone, I never knew there was a road there, and he totally just tripped me out with that. It was just really good. So eventually the sun went down and the XX was about to come on. Rather than explaining how I felt, let me just tell you. So I know you guys can barely see me. You can only see the reflection in my glasses, but it's 2017 Coachella Weekend 1. It's about 25 minutes until the XX starts, and I'm feeling real good. This is a big deal for me. Seeing the XX, it's just so beautiful to be here on the same level with the love of my life. This is beautiful, and I'm glad that I'm able to record as much footage as I am. I'm here and having fun. I'm feeling good. I can't wait to watch this, and then the Radiohead right after. I got some mushrooms in my pocket. I got some Molly in my veins. I got some acid in my tent. We'll see what the rest of the weekend brings. So as you can see, I was feeling great. There was actually not even a blue light there. That was just me glowing blue. But really, as the XX started, it was just one of the most surreal, amazing, blissful, content experiences that I've ever had, feelings I've ever had. And it's crazy because like the last time I saw the XX right before, actually I should tell this story. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys think I should tell the story about when I got peed on, right when I was starting to fry, and right as the XX started at Coachella. I don't think I've ever told that story. Maybe I have. But yeah, I got pissed on by somebody next to me right as I started to trip on acid and right as the XX started the last time I saw them. And that's a whole story in and of itself. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to hear that. But because that happened last time, it was very important that I saw the XX and things went right this time. About 2 or 3 songs in, I get a phone call from my dad. My dad has my kids. I answer the phone. He's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, shit. Why would he be calling me right now? I'm like, hey, I'm at the XX. He's all, who, what? And I'm rolling. So I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm at the XX. The people I'm the most excited to see. What's up? Oh, never mind. Just call me later. And I was like, you can't do that to me right now. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, you can't do this to me, Dad. So I told him, I said, is everything okay? And he said, yeah, everything's okay. I'm like, are you sure? He said, yeah, everything's fine. Just call me later. Hung up. It didn't even get me worried. I was like, more than likely things are okay. I'm just going to go, I'll talk to him right now. If there was something really, really bad, he would have told me. It was like, it didn't really affect me. It was on my mind. It was something that I knew I needed to get off my mind so I could enjoy the rest of the set. But it didn't really affect me in a negative way. Like I said, I was in such a good mind state and a positive mind state that I was actually able to be like, hey, babe, let's go to the back of the stage. I want to, call my dad and make sure everything's okay. And I wasn't even tripping about it. Like I was walking towards the back, like vibing to the XX, and it was cool. I wasn't even worried. Like I really wasn't at all. So I called my dad. Everything ended up being okay. It was just something that was dumb. But, we sat in the back and chilled for a while, and we went to go pee all during the XX. I do regret it a little bit, not enjoying the full experience of the XX. But like I said, that even those 2 or 3 songs in the beginning, they were enough to just like wash over me and to really just like... Obviously, yeah, I should have stood there and not called and not pissed and just watched the whole set. But, you got to roll with the punches sometimes. It is what it is. In the moment, whatever happened, and I'm happy it did. After the XX, we wanted to go see Travis Scott right before Radiohead. Travis Scott was so fucking packed that we couldn't even get to a point where we could actually see him. That didn't end up happening. We ended up going back to the main stage where Radiohead was. and just chilling out and waiting until they started. It was a crazy thing to see because it's fucking Radiohead and it's Coachella, and it felt like there was almost nobody there. I'd never seen that. Like, even the whole weekend, it was like that. All the EDM stages were totally packed, and then the main stage and everything else with other artists weren't, and it was a trip to see. But anyways, right before Radiohead came on, I ate at least a cap and a half. It literally got to the point, it was like a good, bad trip. It was like, it was not scary, but it was like almost, I guess, depressing is the word. Their music is very depressing in general, but the way that they did the Weekend 2 set to me was a lot more of like a low-key kind of almost sad, depressing set. Just the song choices and how it was. He did a lot of like, I feel like he was just like saying nonsense, like like he was just saying that into the microphone, and it got like so melancholy is maybe a better word. Like, I literally was able to just sit there for a few songs in. I was actually able to just like sit down with Monica and lay there with my head to the sky, close my eyes, and really just get lost in my head and enjoy it. And it was, I don't even want to say it was amazing, because it was kind of like a dark spiritual experience, I guess. I always have to describe things, and it's hard for these to describe these things sometimes. But it was one of those moments where it was like, it was dark, but it was also good, and I loved it. And as much as Radiohead's set and performance, wasn't exactly what I expected, it was maybe something that I maybe had needed. And I really am looking forward to watching that back and just enjoying the set again. But it was awesome. But yeah, that was Friday at Coachella. We ended up just going back to the camp after Radiohead and falling asleep and getting 8 hours of sleep. Saturday was a whole nother monster, though. I thought Saturday was going to be let's get drunk day. And I was right, but it was more like let's get drunk afternoon. Because Saturday was the day that we were chilling, at the campsite. To this day, we decided to go in later. We didn't go in early. We're chilling at the campsite, and our other neighbors are going in. They're Coachella in hard, bruh. They are over there eating mushrooms like they're candy. They're over there smoking DMT like it's fucking cigarettes. Made me kind of scared because he looked like he was on fucking like heroin and shit. As much as I've been sitting with that DMT in my fucking closet forever, it makes me really kind of think a little bit harder about the DMT. I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna not do it, but it needs to be the perfect moment. So keep looking forward to that. It's gonna happen. Anyway, so this put me into like this crazy, like, fuck it, I can eat some mushrooms kind of mind state. Like, why not? Like, who cares? So at the campsite, I ate a little bit more, and then we went to what they called the Antarctic. The Antarctic is, let me just show you some sort of an example. It's not going to do it justice at all, but this is basically what the Antarctic is. So it's basically a big ass dome where it fits like 100 to 200 people, where you sit in these big ass beanbag gaming chairs and look up at the ceiling and enjoy this crazy 3-dimensional experience where it takes you on all these different levels and breaks you into all these patterns. And I am telling you guys, I'm not a crybaby. I know I make a lot of videos where I say that I'm crying, but I'm not a crybaby, okay? Just hold on. But I am telling you, when I was peaking on these mushrooms, because I probably ate like over 1.5 grams before we even got to the Antarctic. And then right as we were in line, I ate another like half a cap. So I am telling you, when I say that this was probably the most intense psychedelic experience of my life, I'm telling you the truth. It takes me back to when I did the heroic dose, which was like 7.5 grams at once of mushrooms, which is crazy, but which you could check out if you click the little thing up there too. Nothing but that can really compare. This was on another level. Like it was, it's not even just because I was on the mushrooms. Like people who were sober were tripping out on it. Like with the shrooms and the experience of just going through all these different levels. And at first, it's just like you're in this cave that feels like India, like Coachella, where Coachella is. Like it felt like you were there, and it just took you somewhere else. And I am not lying when I tell you that I was staring at that thing and I wasn't even crying. Like I wasn't emotional even. I was like, I mean, I was, but it was like my eyes just couldn't handle the visuals. Like it was like my eyes were just continuously watering over and over and over, and I could tell that Monica was tripping out because she was squeezing me, and it was like, it was a spiritual experience. Like legitimately, it was one of the most amazing experiences of the weekend, and it was by far one of the most amazing psychedelic experiences I've ever had. I couldn't get over like all the different aspects to it and how you could incorporate like other music and tell stories, and how it can be incorporated into stages and video games and movies and different things that you could do with that type of stuff. Like that is, it was the future, and I couldn't get over it. And I made a post on Reddit about it, and I fucking, it was amazing. And I watched it again, I think that night or the next day, but it was, wow. Right after that, we went and seen Schoolboy Q and Future, and then we ended up getting really drunk and having fun, and it ended up being, a really good, Saturday night. Sunday I woke up and I was on some straight fuck it shit. So Friday we took the Molly, Saturday we took the shrooms, and Sunday, like I said, I was on some fuck it shit and decided to just take it all. So Sunday, it started as I don't give a fuck, we're gonna get fucked up. I ended up being inside the venue. We chilled out for a little while. For some reason, I started feeling like dizzy, and like I thought I was just dehydrated. We ended up spending some money on food that we weren't even supposed to, and I think I just psyched myself out thinking that I was just like being a bitch about it. But I think what happened is when I got bit by whatever I got bit by, because if you've seen in the Coachella 2017 Journey video, I got bit the fuck up, and it was during group love, I'm pretty sure. It really started making me feel like shit, like sick. And I had other bites on my feet. Like I think I just got bit up by some sort of really bad spider, and it kind of made me feel like shit. I had to kind of force myself out of that bad mind state. I had to go get some water, a lot of water, and smoke some weed, because I was in the mood, or I was like honestly in my head like on some like super negative shit, like really almost like how last year was, where I made the video how it was the worst Coachella ever. I forced myself to get out of that, and we went and got a bunch of water. I felt better right after that. Ate some food, felt better. Smoked some weed. I felt back to normal. And I don't know why I had to force myself to smoke weed. I think it's just because I had a little bit left and I was trying to conserve it for Kendrick. But I'm so glad that I did smoke at that moment, because I just came back to life like crazy. Right after that, we started walking around. We went seeing DJ Khaled, and it was cool. Like I was in a good ass fucking zone, like probably the best zone of the whole weekend. Then we ended up right before Hans Zimmer, and if you guys don't know who Hans Zimmer is, I mean, you've heard his shit because you watch movies, but he's done everything from The Lion King to The Dark Knight to Interstellar to fucking Gladiator. He's a genius, and it's one of those things that you can't miss. You can't not see him. So right before he started, me and Monica ate a full cap each and really got in a great space and enjoyed his whole set. Basically during his set, like I really was on some like, the sun had just gone down, and the music he was playing was like, it wasn't like you're sitting there bumping, it's like you're getting lost in this like journey. It's like an experience. It's like an adventure almost, just watching him and watching him and just hearing this music and hearing the Pirates of the Caribbean song, and just there was a whole orchestra on stage, and it was amazing. It was also windy on this Sunday, so along with this crazy epic music, all I'm seeing is just all these palm trees just swaying in the wind, and it was just amazing. Like it was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen, and it was amazing. I'm so glad that I saw him and I was able to smoke some weed and get back in a good mind state, because this is right after this is probably where I had the best moment of the entire weekend. So we ended up leaving and we ended up going to the beer garden to go see, Chill Out for Kendrick. And Lord was on right before Kendrick. And I completely forgot that she was even there, honestly. But as we were walking by, it just like, it was, everything just came together. And we were at the back of the main stage where they had all this art set up. And they had these new lights that were like old school, that felt like old school, like rave lights. And it was like, we just walked through them and it just felt beautiful. And it was like, that is what Coachella was, and that is what Coachella is. That moment, just that feeling right there. And it was like, I wish I would have just held on to it for a little longer. And I never thought it would be a Lorde set that I would be saying that about, but it was. And she was dope. She was like into it and just happy, and it was great. We went to the beer garden, had some beers. I was on some like just feeling so good. Ate some more mushrooms, and that was like the most epic shit ever. Even just sitting at the beer garden just drinking, like, it was awesome. It was a great just beautiful moment, and just I'll never ever forget that. Like walking in the back of that main stage, being at that beer garden, it was awesome. Especially like I said, with the wind and everything, it was like perfect. So of course, we went and saw Kendrick. I didn't need any more mushrooms or anything like that for Kendrick. I kind of just wrote it out. He was dope as shit. And I mean, he just put on the type of set where it was like, being on shrooms was actually cool, because he was very, very performance oriented and very artistic, and it ended up being really, 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 really amazing. So MDMA and Shrooms ended up being like a very, very good mix, and something that, like I said in the previous video, LSD, shrooms, or ecstasy, which is the best for music festivals. I'm glad that I did what I did. Had I taken the acid, it could have, had its benefits, and it would have, but it's just very, very unpredictable to me. And because it's been so long since I did it, I think, I'd rather sit on that tab, which I have over there with the DMT, and just wait for, a good moment where I can really just experience alone and, dive deep into myself, which is something I really want to do, going forward and pretty soon. So yeah, that was it. I learned that I need to utilize my drugs a lot better, and I can't wait to go to the next festival or the next concert. We're already looking forward to going a couple different places. I appreciate you guys so much for watching to the end. You guys are fucking awesome. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. If this is your first time watching a video, I make videos every Wednesday. I talk about everything from smoking weed to psychedelics to just random stories. So if you guys are interested, please click the subscribe button. Yeah, that's it. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Again, smoke something, drink something. I go by the name of Audible484, and I will see you guys next week. Peace out. Oh yeah, and the album is coming. I promise you guys. Promise you.